probably heard this riff before. It sounds like magic, but it's really just a few simple mini bar chords that can unlock the entire fretboard if you understand them. Let me show you how it works. What's up, you guys? My name is Kyle. Today I'm going to teach you about the power of mini bar chords using the iconic Weezer song, Island in the Sun. The intro and most of the song uses these little tiny chords, 3 strings, but such a big sound and so perfect for the right song. Lots of songs use this trick, but Island in the Sun is one of my favorites. So let's talk about how it works. Now, you probably grew up with a proper hatred of bar chords. Most of us did. Over time, you grow to love them because they're so versatile. But there's a way to play them that's even simpler, and that's to just play parts of them. Now, there is a little bit of caged mix in here if you know about caged, but I'm going to just mostly talk about how these relate to bar chords specifically. So let's just go shape by shape. And then you can see how you can use this anywhere on the neck in any song that you want. And I'll even show you a couple examples where they do kind of use these shapes. But let's start with the very first chord. This is an E minor chord. You're like, how is that? Wait, I thought this was a... Yes, they're both E minor chords. A chord really just needs 3 notes. Okay, you just need 3 notes to make a chord. Now, when you play these 3 strings... Oops, sorry. When you play those 3 strings... you get an E minor chord. Why? Because we've got a B, we've got an E, and we've got a G. And those are the 3 notes it takes to make a E minor triad. Now it's inverted, obviously, the B is in the root, but that gives us an E minor chord. Now, what is this based off of? Why is this so cool? Well, it's the same shape as a D minor chord. You've probably learned D minor before. All right, one of the first chords we learned on guitar, one of the early ones. Well, if you play this up 2 frets, it doesn't work quite as well because now you've got that D string. So what do you have to do? Well, you've got to make sort of a bar here. Okay, now this shape you can slide up anywhere. So when we start this E minor, they're just playing this common little mini bar chord shape, which you can slide anywhere to make any chord. All right, this is an A minor. Just like this is an A minor, so is this. Why? Because this note is an A, and here's your minor shape, slidable. If you want to get the root and the bass, you have to rearrange and play it like that. But you don't have to. You can just. This is great for lead guitar if someone's playing and you want to pick something a little higher. Alright, so when you learn new ways to play chords, it's great for working with other musicians. So that's the E minor. Alright, using the D minor shape. Before I continue with this amazing concept, I need to tell you about my ultimate guitar guide. If you haven't got it yet already, it's free. There's a link in the description, guitar buying recommendations, picking technique, my favorite strumming, some chords you've never heard before, possibly. It's free. Go check it out. Let's keep going. Next, we've got an A minor. How is this an A minor? I thought this was. Wait, I thought this was. Well, so is this. And what's it based off of? It's based off that A minor chord. Here, bar chord. Okay. This is a minor bar chord shape. You might know that already. If you go find your A in the root and you make a minor bar chord shape, you get an A minor, right? This is a G, therefore this is a G minor. This is a B, therefore this is a B minor. All right, it's all about that shape based on the root, which is here on the E string. If you know your E string and you make that shape, you're making that minor chord that you're looking for. All right, this is C sharp. Here's C sharp minor. Just make the shape. Now, in the case of Island in the Sun, they're only using the last 3 strings of that bar chord. So we've got our E minor, then our A minor, just mini bar chords. Then we go down to a D. How is this a mini bar chord? Well, like we talked about earlier, it's based off of a shape that's slidable. Okay, if you want, this is a D here, but if you want it to be an E, you would just take it up 2 and play it there, right? Because D up 2 half steps is an E. If you want a G, you take it up here. An A, Okay, this shape is a little awkward to slide around, not super common, but still very useful if you're playing lead guitar especially, or if you're playing Island in the Sun. But in Island in the Sun case, you only need to do a standard D. Now, the last one will be this shape here. And what is this? How is this a mini bar chord? Well, it's based off the G major bar chord. Just like this was minor, this was A minor, right? Well, if we wanted it to be major, we would just put our middle finger down. A major, A minor, A major. Right? G minor, G major. So how is this part of Island in the Sun? Well, we just use those last 3 strings. Putting it together, we have an E minor, which is based off of the D minor shape, slid up 2 to give you E minor. Then we have the A minor. If you do this anywhere, you're playing a minor triad. Right, here's A minor, here's G minor, here's B minor, C sharp minor, D minor, but we're doing it in A. So we've got E minor, A minor, going down to a standard D, which again is slidable if you wanted to play anywhere, and then a G. All mini versions of bar chords. Very useful, not only for Island in the Sun, but also for, well, let's try it for Someone Like You by Adele. They kind of do, right now in this case, the first couple chords in the song, this is a piano song, but it would be picked like this. I heard that you. All right, now this is 1 extra string added. It's based off of that A major bar chord, but adding the D string into it, we'd play like that. And we go. Now in this case, they really just hit those notes, but it's still based off of that mini bar chord shape. And then they slide down to a C sharp minor, which would be off of this minor shape, which we didn't talk about in Island in the Sun, but still, if you find a bar chord, in this case a C sharp minor, and you play the last 3 strings on the high G, B, and E strings, you've got a little mini bar chord. And you've got a great way to play some lead guitar or a little lead line or a melodic hook or something like that. So you've got, in this case, using these 3 strings, but based off of that C sharp minor, and could be played with just the high 3 strings. And then we go down to the F sharp minor, which, ooh, look at that. It's based off of that little bar shape we had, the F sharp minor, by just using those strings. A minor, like we did in Island of the Sun, right? But in this case, also using the D string. Hopefully this is making sense. And then the D chord. Just like Island in the Sun. So that's pretty cool. You could also do it in the song of Hey Soul Sister by Train, if you know that. All right, what is that? The last 3 strings? It's played on a ukulele, but you can play it on guitar if you want it to sound like it. You just hit the high strings. This is an E chord, right? Based off of a full E bar, but just the mini bar. Then a B chord based off of, what is this? A B major bar, because this is a B on our E string. We're making a major shape based off of the E chord, right? Slid up here, but just playing those. C sharp minor, just like our A minor from Island in the Sun, but up here. And then an A, based off of an A bar chord. Making it sound high like a ukulele. So now hopefully you see that while Island in the Sun uses these, and that's just one song, there's so many songs that you can, in fact, even if the song doesn't have this, if you need to add a guitar and be creative over it, you might consider using a mini bar chord for any song that you love. Okay, because all you need to do is find the proper note, make that shape, and then you've got, you know, what you're looking for. In this case, you do, right, little mini bars are so useful for interesting sounds, so that are high pitched, colorful, great for lead guitar to add on to whatever the other guitarist is playing. And there's just so many options here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. The power of Island in the Sun chords used on hundreds of songs. Thanks for watching. My name is Kyle. Subscribe to my channel. like this video, and I hope to see you on my next video.